So let's take a look at this ball blueprint again. And I want to just talk a little bit about this event here. And if we have a collision, we'll say it's not actually the collision here. Actually, we could do that. So, for example, if we said the event hit that we've already added, or if we added in an event here, and it should be on destroyed, okay? So if we say event destroyed, and we plug that in there, what would happen is that again you would have to find that spawn transform, and you'd have to figure out the exact location, and that's not something that you want to do. What you want to do instead is make sure that you get the hit location here, and that's one of the things that's in Unreal, which is a little bit more challenging. Okay, so another thing that we can do is let's hop back into Unreal for a moment here, and then let's kind of add in this spawner blueprint here. Now, what you can do is let's just take a look at this begin play, and we'll spawn an actor, spawn actor from class, and then this class here we're going to need a transform. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in the get actor transform. Okay, and I'm doing this to show you that this is another way that you can do that. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically going to add in, I think it's smoke. Yeah, so let's add in the smoke here. So what this is going to do is on begin play, it's going to add in the smoke here. So there's a couple ways of doing this, and in game development, you have to understand that there are many ways to do the same thing. So I'm going to talk about that here, okay? And so if you look at this here, we now have smoke coming up out of that. So it's something that if you really wanted to do, you could. Let's hop back into the particles here. I think the steam, is the steam one a little bit better here? Well, it's a little bit better here, and this fire one's also good too. So if you really wanted to, you could do a few things here. Let's hop back into the blueprint, okay? And since this, the reason why that this works, this actor transform, is because it's not moving. When the begin play happens, it only happens once at the beginning of play. So because the transform isn't moving, we don't necessarily have to do that, okay? So it spawns the actor here. Now, what we can do is we can actually kind of move this up here, and we can actually, push Control W to just simply copy and paste it, and we'll do that again. And I'm going to do this 3 times here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm just going to select all these, shift click, and move everything up a bit so we have some room. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So in the begin play, we're going to actually spawn 3 different things. We're going to spawn, and just zoom in a bit, spawn the transform, and we're going to spawn here. Now we're going to add in the steam, blueprint steam, and then next here we're going to add in the fire. Okay, so all this is going to do is this is going to spawn all 3 of those particles. Okay, and let's go ahead and let's play it here, and you can see that all 3 of those things are going to get spawned. Okay, actually, let's go back in here for a second. And of course, they would actually get spawned if you hook everything up. Okay, and you can see here that what this is going to do is you can only get one at a time. So the best thing to do is to just make a chain like so. Okay, so we're just going to one spawns the other. Okay, now this is one way of doing it. And okay, let's run that again. And you'll start to see that all 3 of those are there. So if you wanted to add in that those particles, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so the other thing you can do is if we added a component here, for example, and we added in the fire, right? You can see that it is, if we wanted to add in, any of these extra components here, it doesn't exactly work. Okay, and if we go back into the, if we were to, if we were to, if we could add them here, then what would happen is if we were to move these, then if they would go ahead and move it around with it. But for the most part, this is the way that you would do it if you were to spawn all those things. So this is something that if you wanted to add some extra effects, you're more than welcome to. I think if you just wanted to add in the smoke there, that's more than enough here. But essentially, this is what you can do. Now, if you really wanted to, and you took a look at these events here, we had any one of these events here, for instance, you could, in theory, spawn something, okay? The only thing that you have to keep in mind is this actor transform, and that one's kind of tricky to work. See you in the next tutorial.